Hi everyone, in this video I will give you my analysis and predictions on the war between the Starks and the Boltons. In the leadership front we have Jon and Ramsay. Though Ramsay showed the ability to come up with a plan and execute it when he defeated Stannis, Jon is a person that sees the bigger picture more clearly. Jon was able to deal with an army 1,000 times bigger than his when he fought the wildlings. He was able to escape being captured, and he is very cool-headed. He is almost never rattled. Ramsay, on the other hand, is very hot-headed, aggressive to a fault, and you can lead him down a trap. Don't forget what Ramsay's dad told him before Ramsay killed him, that Ramsay sometimes acts like a mad dog. So this is a win for Jon. The cunning category was a little bit harder to decide. Jon did show a lot of ingenuity, escaping captivity and broking peace with the wildlings. But I'm going to give this to Ramsay. I know Jon has more feats, but Ramsay is just ruthless. There is nothing he won't do, and he can surprise anyone. He uses his imagination a lot, usually for horrible things. But the main thing is that Jon is a more honorable man. There are lines he won't cross. You can't say the same for Ramsay. This was the easiest category. I don't care who Ramsay's advisors are. Do you really think he'll listen? The only thing that doesn't make this a complete landslide is the fact that Sansa seems to be working under Jon, which leaves Jon in the wind. But still, Jon knows how to listen. Ramsay doesn't show that ability. Both Jon and Ramsay have experience in battle, and you might think this is an easy win for Jon, because he has more experience. But not so fast. He never led a real army, and he was never part of an army against army fight. Ramsay has. So, in my opinion, this is a tie. Though Jon has more overall experience in battle, Ramsay has more experience in this kind of battle. Ramsay leads by fear and example. He is on the front line, and likes to get his hands dirty, which matters. But Jon knows how to make people believe in him, and want to follow him. He gives people hope, and they trust him. Some will give their lives for him. I don't want to discount Ramsay, but this isn't really close. Jon wins this. The overall better leader is Jon. Ramsay is a fine leader, but you want Jon to lead you into battle. First, let's talk about size. Now, this is guesswork on my part, but in my opinion the Starks will end up with the bigger army. I don't think Jaime and the Lannister army will take part in this battle, but I do think that the Vale and Littlefinger will. I don't have specific numbers, but I think that in the end of the day, the Starks will have the numbers. Now, I talked about Jon as the better leader, and how he would be able to unite his troops. But he has a lot of work ahead of him. Making the wildlings and the northern men work together in a battle won't be easy, and I don't know if he will be the one leading the Vale soldiers or they will have a different leader. On the other hand, the Bolton's army is made up of northern soldiers alone, and they know how to work together. So, the Bolton army takes this point. The simple fact is that other than the northern soldiers in the Stark army, no one has real experience. Even the Vale soldiers were not part of the War of Five Kings. So this is an easy point for the Boltons. If Ramsay won't act like a mad dog, his army has a clear advantage, and the Stark army has to fight the weather conditions as much as the war, though they are adept to it. If Ramsay makes the Starks come to him, they will be in a disadvantage. Though I don't think he will use this advantage wisely, it does exist, so the point goes to him. Though it looks like a landslide, as I said, I don't think Ramsay will use the location advantage, and size is key. So this is a tie. Let's talk about leverage. Ramsey has all the leverage in the world. He does hold Rickon, and you know he will remind them of that. And don't expect Jon and Sansa to act like Blackfish. If Ramsey sees himself losing, you just know Rickon will be the one to suffer from it. Also, the Starks are working against the clock. As Jon said, they can't wait because of the weather. This is a big advantage for the Bolton's army. Now, let's talk about how I think this war will go down. First of all, I think Brienne is going to convince Jaime to step down from this fight and get the aid of Blackfish. I think Ramsey will hear about the impending attack the Starks are planning, and he won't wait for them to come to him. He will go to them. Now, one of two things can happen. Either the Vale forces come before the fight begins, or while the fight is happening. If they come while the fight occurs, I think the fight will start with the small forces Jon has against the Boltons, and due to Jon's leadership, they will put up a fight. But as they start losing, the Vale army will come in droves and help fight back the Boltons. I think there is a good chance that upon seeing his demise, Ramsey will flee back to the castle for Rickon, but the Starks will win the war. The other option, of course, is that the Vale will arrive before the start of the war. This will cause friction between Sansa and Jon, because she didn't tell him about the deal she made with Littlefinger. But they will go into battle. I think that in this case, it's much more likely that we will see some northern houses go against Ramsey as the fight wanes. Now, let's talk about the fallout of the war. I think Ramsey is going to die no matter what, even if he gets to Rickon. Now, the big question is Rickon going to survive? I believe he won't survive, but there is a good chance I'm wrong. I think that after this war there will be a rift between Jon and Sansa. I think Jon will be angry she didn't tell him about Littlefinger. And I think Littlefinger will try to make the situation worse. I think that if Rickon will die, his death will cause the rift. I think one of them might blame the other for his death. But I think the rift will go away once Bran arrives, and he will remind them of the real threat. But I don't think Bran will arrive before the war ends. But of course, after the war ends, Jon will return dealing with the White Walkers, while Sansa will lead the North. One more thing I want to talk about is how I think Ramsey is going to die. I think we will have a cool scene with him and Jon alone, and Ramsey bringing his dogs to fight against Jon, only for Snow to arrive and rip the shit out of Ramsey and his dogs. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I welcome any feedback you guys can give me on how to improve my channel. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in my next video.